What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going over Mattel's Fisher-Price GeoTrax train sets. The reason why I'm so excited for this is because this behind me is my boys' Christmas presents from Santa, and it's a pure nostalgia trip for myself. So let's dive right into it. Before we dive into each individual box under some decent lighting, I want to do an overview just on what GeoTrax are. GeoTrax are made by Fisher-Price, which is owned and operated by Mattel out of Canada. And what this is a train and vehicle operating toy set. See these guys right here? These were made from 2003 to 2005. They were discontinued for a couple years. And when they came back to do branded partnerships with places like Toys R Us, or one large popular set was Cars, obviously made by Pixar. So you can come and get a Cars set that still operated on the same track system and still had the same design and overall look. But they came back with branded licensed toy and movie characters like that. I think they ended in 2010, and that's when they completely stopped. You can tell the difference in ages because when they did come back, they came back with characters. I don't know if they did a market analysis and that's why they maybe flopped the first go around. I don't know why they were discontinued. I think these are freaking awesome. Maybe just sales weren't following suit with popularity, and so they discontinued it. But when they came back, they added characters to the sets. But besides that, the sets are the exact same whether you bought them in 2003 or if you bought them in 2010, and we'll go over some of those differences when we sit down. But the reason why I'm so excited for this is because my younger brother was born in 2001, I believe. No, I don't know. Somewhere in there. Sorry. I have 9 siblings, so I apologize if I don't know every single one of their birthdays. But the reason why I'm so stoked for this is because he had tons of them. I was born in the mid-1990s, 1994, and so I was 10. It's embarrassing. I was 9 or 10, and we played with these constantly. And when I say constantly, I really mean constantly. There are some elevated pieces right here, and I remember building sets all over my parents' living room, up and over coffee tables, end tables, couches. So this has a lot of nostalgia for me. And the reason why these are new sealed in boxes is because these are actually my boys' Christmas present. I'm filming this on the 23rd of December. I just got back from Mexico, a little vacation with my family. So I need to hurry up and wrap these, but I wanted to do a quick little video on this because I think these are cool. I have a feeling a lot more people played with these than what articles are suggesting. People on the internet suggest that these was like Fisher-Price's biggest flop. I don't know why. I think if you're any sort of crazy, rambunctious kid, these would be awesome. They're not Legos, obviously. They remind me of Legos, but they don't remind me of Legos. They remind me of Legos because you can be completely self-sufficient and use your imagination. You can build these roads any which way you want. And then obviously the remote operated trains and trucks. It just blows my mind that this was ever discontinued to begin with. So let's dive into these. I do have some loose sets right here. Sorry, I know I just said we're going to dive into these. These are all sealed, but the issue is they're kind of pricey. And so the box right here is actually a lot of tracks. And when I say a lot of tracks, I mean it was a lot of railroad tracks off of eBay. And the reason why I bought a lot for these was 2 of these guys sealed was 24 bucks, between 24 and $30 for 2 of these. That's it. And so I bought this whole entire thing for I think $50. And don't worry, I got them off of eBay. I filled up my bathtub. I disinfected them, wiped them off, cleaned them off again, and let them air dry. But I really wanted to get these sealed because obviously it's going to be from Santa Claus and me, and Santa Claus can't deliver open presents. And then also, these sometimes don't work. Obviously, if you buy used, you're running the risk of not having them operable. So I wanted everything to be in working condition, in new condition, but I was okay with getting tracks just because it was so expensive. And they don't really care if those are, you know, out and about, but I'm sure they want stuff to open on Christmas morning. So let's dive right into these. All right, you guys, the first thing I want to go over with you is the elevated tracks, just because it's the most boring. I want to knock it out of the way. This was a lot on eBay as well, and with a couple other pieces, but I wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown on what they are. So what comes in these are, they are a little bit different. You got some extra curved pieces right here, and this set only has a couple other ones. And then this box right here doesn't have any curved at all. So I am going to get rid of a couple of these boxes just because you guys don't really care to see the extra boxes. But pretty basic. You have some elevated pieces, hope you guys can see these, that ramp up, and then you have the stands right here which you place all of your track mechanism in and clip in, so that way everything is elevated. These guys right here can also be stacked on top of them, so you can have multiple elevations as you need at once. So as you can see right here, the cool thing about that is there are some sets that have like a clock tower, or other sets that you do have 2 elevations or even 3 elevations. So it's really cool to be able to kind of build as you go and as you want. Actually, speaking of the clock tower, if you see back there, put it nice and close, there is a clock tower right there. And well, we had them as kids, and so I figured my boys would like them. It's also depressing because there are some price tags still on some of these. So this guy says like $10.99. One of them says like $3.99. Definitely not what I paid for them at all. I did grab a couple pieces out of that box that I showed you guys to show you what the pieces look like. So this is a longer straight versus a smaller straight, about half the size as the longer one. And they are so easy to clip together. They literally just... Okay, well, that was dumb of me. They literally just pop in. Okay, I haven't done that in a while, so... So they just pop in. There is a groove on the inside right here that locks them in, and then you just break them off. So, geez, oh Pete, these are a lot easier when I was a kid. I guess they just don't ever come to get apart. So, okay, there you go. A little bit easier. I look like the biggest idiot right now. Other pieces you get is just a normal curve, and then you get a curve with a straight with a piece that helps you divide them, so you can take different courses and different tracks. The cool thing about these is they really add a lot of detail to these moldings, which sounds dumb, but it's cool looking back. So like this guy has a handsaw right here. There is a little critter right here. And so each piece has something similar, but also something different. This has like a stick. And so they added a lot of detail to these, which I really, really enjoyed. Now these aren't the only 4 pieces, and obviously the elevated pieces. There are pieces that have like an intersection or a cross, whichever way you want to say it. There are road-specific sets, so these are for the trains. You can also get sets that are for vehicles, so cars. They don't operate. They do have a couple sets that do have a remote control, but for the most part, they're just accessories. And those pieces are gray. They're just a standard gray, and those are for the road side of this kind of series. So I'm going to get these guys out of here, and we will grab a couple more sets. All right, next up, I have a train station slash just multitude of buildings that is kind of just a collective of randomness. This is a later release, I want to say in 2008 or 2009. And the reason for that is because they had an original train station that was a little bit different. And so that's how I know that this was a later release. Let me look to see what year it is. 2006. Okay. Well, 2006 it is. Well, I guess that is later if it came out in 2003. So yeah, it's kind of mid-century, mid-age of GeoTrax. This is cool because it has an operational crane. It's got a bus for some civilians, and then it's got a couple different things like a police station and a high-rise tower, which I think is pretty cool. I'll flip it around and show you guys kind of some more about the back. This came with all the elevated pieces, and so this was part of the set. There is nothing here that requires an elevated piece, so I assume just the seller on eBay had it as a lot or found it as a lot and just sold it all together, because this can just be operational by just single level tracks. Moving on to some actual vehicles now. Now I'm going to start with the worst condition one. This guy right here. Now I believe this is an older set. Let me check. Oh, actually it's a newer set, 2003. Okay. I guess I could have looked, because when I told you guys in the intro, if it has a little caricature or a little figure, it's a later set. I don't know why they did that, because a lot of these train sets, they did modify them to be able to open and close. So if you look, the earlier sets weren't able to really do anything. They were just trains, and I thought they were really cool as a kid, and I still do. However, like this guy, for example, it opens and closes. So each of the cars open and close, and then I believe the engine opens. Yep. So if you look at back there. The reason why I got this one is it's in terrible shape. It's super beat up. It is opened, but so for example like that, it did say in the eBay listing that it was open, but the reason why I know it was never used, and the listing also said it wasn't used, is if you look at all like the wiring that holds it down, it's all in place. So not really upset with it. I bought it because it was really, really cheap because of the condition of it. And when you have kids and boys, they don't care if it's in the nicest box. The box is going to be ripped open in 2 seconds anyways. So I just wanted an extra train for them to be able to play with, because there's no sense in having all this track and like one train or 2 engines or whatever. So I kind of went with a bulk instead of quality on this one. This is another engine. Now I'm going to try to help myself and say that this is a older set, because it has no figurine. Yep, 2003, or sorry, 2005, my apologies. So the reason why I think these are so cool is because they actually function and run. So obviously you have your controller, your joystick or operation stick, whatever you want to call it. The crazy thing is this requires so many batteries. This is 3 AAA or 4 AAA, and then this is also 3 or 4 as well. So there's a lot of batteries. The depressing part about this is I think I spent $60 on this, $70, and look at that price tag. I don't know if you can read that. It's $399, which is disgusting for how much I paid for it. Something cool about this is on the back side you can see the different various sets. So they do have like a water scene, they have a mountainous scene, they have an emergency vehicle, construction vehicle, and then more of like a farmland. When I was growing up and my younger brother had these, he literally had every single one of these. It was insane how many he had. We don't know where those went. I wish we still had them. I'm surprised my mom doesn't, because she keeps everything, because her grandkids and my boys would love playing with these. But the reason why I like having separate sets like this is because I can kind of go after one individual thing and complete it, because I'm a completionist to the max. And so what I decided to do with my boys was they're very outgoing, they're very outdoorsy, they love to come to work with me, they love to just get dirty. So what I did was I mainly focused on the construction set, which is what I'll pull up next. But this is another engine that was relatively inexpensive versus other ones. I mean, you can find these on eBay for like $100, $150. So the fact that I got it for so cheap was really awesome. And they're going to love it because it's another engine. It kind of looks emergency vehicle-ish because of the red and the yellow with the gray. And so I'm going to pass it along as like a construction one if they ask. But just another vehicle for them to operate with. Alrighty, moving on to the more construction sets that are specific to one another. This guy right here is another older set. I think this might be very, very old. When I say old, it's 20 years old, so it's nothing crazy, but 2003. So this is one of the original sets. There's a couple reasons why you can tell if it's an original set or not, is because first of all, they have these flapper, I don't know, covers, if you want to call them. They're Velcro, so they open up and you can see what's inside of them. Secondly, if you can see, there's only a few different sets or factions or various, what I'm trying to say, set-related items, whereas the other one had 4 or 5, and then you multitude it to their nowadays, or in 2008, 2009, they had Disney, they had Pixar, they had Sea and Air, they had tons of different things. So you can tell these are older sets because of the way they are. Hopefully you guys get that reference. But this was kind of the big purchase. This is a construction set, and like I said, I'm going after all the construction vehicles, so this was kind of a very important engine to buy. Excuse me. There is a later engine set that I just didn't have the money to buy because it was another $150. This wasn't obviously $150, but there might be a birthday gift later down the road, or you know, if they do well in life and aren't naughty for a month, you can get a type of a thing. So very happy with this pickup, and I think they're going to be stoked. Oh, you can see the gray right there. Kind of shows you what it looks like. So yeah, it's very basic engine. Back here, really quickly, I wanted to point out the original sets had this docking station. My brother had it as well, to where you can hook up to 4 engine remotes. And it's kind of cool because if you see right here, you can have them all into place. They all make noise, and so it's kind of cool to have like a central grand station per se of remotes. And that might be a purchase I make later down the road. So moving on to the next big item. I assume this is going to be from 2003 just because of the way that it looks. Yep, 2003. So it's got the Velcro. You can look inside, and it's got a tractor and a trailer with it. One thing you'll notice that if you go online or on eBay right now, you'll see another exact product like this, but it has a variant to it. That is a newer set. So the newer set would have either a figure or it would have an extra vehicle with it. And then going to the back side, again, it only has the 3 separations and then a very basic scene to it. But my boys are going to love this. My parents actually still have just this part at their house. No idea where anything else is. Then you can see more of the roadway right here. But the cool thing is you can still hook up your train system through here. It doesn't have to be just vehicles, so I'm sure my boys will do that. And it just adds to the construction set. This is kind of like the big construction set that everything is based upon and based around. Let me show it to you guys right here really quickly. So you have like the big construction set, and which is cool because every single thing has a big set and then a lot of micro sets that go with it. So you have the big set, this is the train set and the engine that I have, and then we're about to go over some other things with them. And yeah, I just hope they're stoked. Actually, I just hope they're as excited as I am, because we're gonna have so much fun building these things, and if they hate them, I'm gonna be mad at myself and at them. Not really, but you know how it is. So moving on to some accessories for them. So 2 of these are actually from my parents to them, and I think these guys are going to be from Santa for stocking stuffers and things like that. But my parents bought them the truck and trailer, and then this guy right here. This guy is from a completely different subset, which I really want to go after next because we had him as kids and I loved him. But it's still kind of, it's a snowplow, but it could pass for construction equipment. So I'll talk about this guy last. So moving forward, you can see on the back side, like I just showed you, this is one of the accessory subsets to the bigger set. It's just a truck and trailer. These are not battery operated. There is no joystick. These are just accessory vehicles that you play with. There is some functionality to it though. You can disconnect it and put it onto an actual engine, or you can kind of take the load and take it from under a tarp or just raw material. The depressing thing about this is I think my parents spent $20 on these, $25 for these, and these brand new back in the day were $1.99 or 99 cents, something ridiculous. Not these, but I've seen them on eBay have the original price tags, and they were like $1.99, and these are from 2003. So awesome to add it to the collection for the boys. And then this is another subset to it right here. Obviously you need construction equipment in construction areas. This guy is also from 2004 instead of 2003, so this is a later release date. Same exact thing. This is functional. You can pick it up and down like you see right here, and then you can also remove the car and add it to your train engine. This guy right here will be an older set, and the reason for that is because it's got that flapper disc, or that flapper cover on it. And then also the backside, you can see this. So I assume it's from 2003 or 2004, 2003. And this is one fun thing that we had as kids that we played and always fought over. It's the wrecking ball. It doesn't really come with much, but it's cool to have it a part of the overall collection. You can have if you were to set this up, you can kind of have a little off-ramp where you park it, a little side road. And so I know my boys are really going to like this one. Moving on to this guy. This guy is the oldest one out of the construction equipment, mainly because of the caricatures. But I did like the dump truck. And in the original set, they had one of these. Let me pull it up for you guys again. Let's see. This guy right here. So, like I mentioned earlier, reprints and remakes of these, it was the exact same molds and the exact same stuff. They might have changed some colors, but all they did was change some colors and add some minifigures or characters to it. Nothing else was changed. So this guy was originally a different color, I believe. Yep, it was green and yellow, like you can see. And in this one, it is brown and yellow. I actually like the brown and yellow. I think it goes more with like the construction theme. And so, no, I just had to add it because I really wanted this and the overall building for them. So you can kind of check out the backside right there. And they should be happy with it. Just another accessory for them to do and use. All right, moving on to the last little bit of the GeoTrax is this snowplow. The reason why I like this so much is because I had it as a kid. This is an older one, things back in 2003, 2004. And these guys, they made a reprint later, 2008, I believe. And the snowplow is blue. And I think these are still the same. I'll pop up a picture for you guys. I think it's blue and gray and green, or I think that is. Or maybe blue, gray, and red. That might be it as well. I wanted to pull up because the backside of this set, and the reason why I can use this because it's the same thing, is no, it's not even on this. This is too old. Let me see if you guys can see it on this guy. Yeah, you guys should be able to. Oh, over here. So over here is like the mountain set. You have a bridge. We used to have that, the mountain scenes and all those. The mountain scenes is cool because you drive through the mountain, you go up on a slope, and then you meet the pinnacle of the mountain, which is the top, and there's like a little snow shack up there and a vehicle, and at that point is where you use your elevated track, and that's where you kind of go down. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. There is a bridge, there is another train track that goes with it, that is your clock tower like I mentioned earlier, and then obviously the snow plow right there. So I think that might be the next set we go after, just because it has a lot of elevated pieces to it, and I think it's really awesome. Another thing you can see is each of these sets have like a logo for them, like a set icon or a set logo. Just like Pokemon, each set has a specific one. So you have like a Neo Revelation, Neo Genesis, they have their own set. You have First Edition, you have Jungle, you have, all those sets have a specific one. When you're buying these, you have like emergency vehicle, you have a train on elevated track. Over here you have just a standard train, it looks like it's on the ground, and then a construction equipment. When you move on to the later sets that are sea-based, they have a boat, and then air-based, they obviously have an airplane. So that's kind of cool to look at some of the sets you have and see kind of what faction they belong to. So that is pretty much it. I wanted to go over really quickly what I got my boys for Christmas, and it's a twofold. It coincides with the content I make, which is retro old video games and toy stuff like Legos. But it also wanted to give you guys a glimpse into what we played with as kids, my brothers and I, and also maybe you guys played with these too. I mean, these are popular, I think. Obviously not popular enough to where they got discontinued for a couple years, but I feel like a lot of kids had these, so you guys are going to have to let me know if you guys ever had these as a kid. I think these are so awesome, and if you have kids or boys that like to build stuff like Legos or Hot Wheels and stuff like that, this might be something to look into for them. All right, you guys, it's gonna be a wrap for today's video. I know it's not video game related. I know it's not Pokemon related. I know it's not Lego related, so I'm sorry for that. I just want to express how excited I am that this is what my boys are getting for Christmas, because I grew up opening these with my younger brother on Christmas morning as well. More so watching him open them, but I definitely got to play with them. So if you guys have any memories playing with these or buying these, or if you have gotten them recently for your collection or your kids, please let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more video games / toy related stuff. We are always adding new stuff to the collection. We're always adding more stuff to my toy collection, I guess. And so I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.